I think that tomorrow's result is going to give us a pretty good indication as to whether we finally left behind this terrible run of form. Now, we picked up a win against Leeds United, we picked up an even bigger win against Borussia Dortmund, and I do feel like if we can get one more win and make it 3 wins on the bounce, this will give us a lot more assurance, a lot more positivity around what is currently happening right now. Can we make this 3 wins on the bounce? That is what I'm praying and hoping for. And you know what? I actually think it's quite funny in a way that we're playing against Leicester City away from home, because this season, Leicester have been such a bipolar team themselves. Currently, they're on a 4-game losing streak, but before that, they picked up 2 massive wins against Aston Villa and against Tottenham, scoring 8 goals in 2 games. But the funny thing about Leicester's season is that, yeah, they have a few winning streaks, but that's always followed by a losing streak. But they haven't lost more than 4 games on the bounce throughout this entire season. So this makes things especially interesting in the game tomorrow, because if we are able to beat them, this would have a significant impact on the rest of our season, in my opinion. Yes, maybe I'm taking things a bit too far, but I think with the positivity around the players right now, you know, the belief, Graham Potter showing signs that he's doing the right things tactically as well too. The reality simply is that with the quality we have in this team, these guys are way too good to be going on losing streaks and not getting the results that this team rightfully should be getting. For me, there's one thing we have to do to give us like a massive odds-on chance of beating Leicester City. We need to have a strong first half, because Leicester only win or lose games this season. They've barely got draws throughout the entirety of the season, and I think a lot of that comes down to their mentality right now. If Leicester are losing in the first half, they end up losing the game in general. So if we can have a strong first half where we can control the game in our favour and set the terms for how we want to play, I think we can get a result against Leicester City. And if we do so, you guys, 3 wins on the bounce, who knows what can happen throughout the rest of this season. In today's match preview, I'm going to break down today's team news. I'm going to talk to 3 key points from Porter's press conference. I'm going to give my predicted lineup and hear my match prediction at the end as well too. So I hope you guys definitely enjoy, and thank you to everyone for the amount of love and support recently. Honestly, it's so motivating, and I'm enjoying reading your comments as well too, and it really just pushes me on. So thank you to everyone for taking the time out of their day to obviously give me a comment. It does mean a lot, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Without wasting any more time, let's start with team news. And obviously guys like Thiago Silva still aren't ready. Don't expect to see Azpi. N'Golo Kante won't be playing at all. He's not making any return to Leicester City. I think we're doing the right thing with Kante. You know, this guy's been rushed back so often throughout his career that, you know, it does have a negative impact for his long-term health and safety. And I just kind of think that we're doing the best things right now. And I'm hoping that as we get to the crunch period of the season, if Kante comes back, for me, it's different rules completely. But we have some more team news. Reece James won't be playing tomorrow. Potter confirmed that he's currently out with illness. Raheem Sterling also won't be playing as well, which is a bit of a loss because he's one of our most consistent scorers. I think he's our highest scorer this season. And of course, he picked up a massive goal against Dortmund as well too. But Potter says that he's currently out of the team because it's like precautionary, because he did feel his hamstring was feeling a bit tight after that Dortmund game. So, you know, I like that Potter works alongside the medical team to make sure that these guys are in best condition. And I think our squad is more than big enough, of course, to cope without Raheem Sterling for one game. But before I leave, Aubameyang won't be playing. He's got like a little back injury, and Mason Mount is still out with injury as well too. So that is the team news out the way. Let's break down the 3 key talking points from Porter's press conference. And to start with things, let's talk MUDRYK. We finally got some confirmation and answers from Graham Potter behind why we haven't been seeing MUDRYK getting many minutes in these past few games. The last time MUDRYK picked up minutes was against Tottenham when we lost 2-0, and he only played like 10 minutes, but Potter did reveal that he has held private talks with MUDRYK behind the scenes, and as we all kind of guessed and kind of assumed, MUDRYK is out the team for fitness reasons. As Potter explains, when we signed him in the January window, Shakhtar were just taking their pre-season. They were like during the midway point of their pre-season. He isn't fully fit right now. And the fact that he's making a massive physical jump up to the Premier League, where the stamina, the intensity, the fitness is of a completely different level to what MUDRYK is used to playing in the Ukrainian League. And I was saying this before, like the Ukrainian League doesn't have many physical monsters like the Premier League does. It's a completely different league in terms of standards. So MUDRYK has to acclimatise and he needs a bit more time. But if you guys are MUDRYK fans, you could be in for a nice surprise in tomorrow's game, because Potter has alluded to the fact that MUDRYK is set to get some minutes against Leicester. In my opinion, I would not be surprised if he makes a sub appearance in the second half. So let's see what MUDRYK can do now that he's had some freshness behind his game. So now, let's talk Mason Mount. As Potter says, Mount is still out and needs a bit more time before he comes back. Of course, the injury is still working against him, but Potter did reveal that behind the scenes, Mount is positive and he's okay. And I guess it comes contrary to like previous reports suggesting that Mount was getting a bit angsty behind his omission from the first team. But I mean, if you're injured, you can't do anything about that right now. So, I'm going to believe Graham Potter in this point in time. Potter was asked to give his take on the Mason Mount contract situation. Now, it's been like a very decisive talking point at this point in time, and I liked Graham Potter's answers. For me, I don't think any manager has any right to get involved between the player and the club when it comes to negotiations. I thought Potter's answer was very emotionally intelligent, which is literally what Graham Potter is down to a T. And he said that he understands that this next contract is very important for Mason Mount, not only for himself, considering that it comes at an important stage of his career right now, due to his age and of course his position in the team, but also for his family as well too. So it's only right that all these guys take as much time as possible to come to the very best conclusion. And Potter did say that this is a very complicated situation and it's best that he stays out of it, which I agree with. Right now, let's end this press conference talk, and Potter gave his thoughts behind whether the back three system is better suited for this team. As Potter says, of course, without Thiago Silva, maybe he's more inclined to be using a back three. And I think that's for very good reason, because statistically, we are still one of the best defensive teams in the league. We should probably use that strength right now, considering that it's a lot harder to attack compared to defense. And as Potter says, it's about finding the balance right now, which is very key. But it's helpful that using a back three system helps us with consistency, because consistency has been the main thing we've been lacking for a very long time. And as I've been saying, as all of us have been hoping to see as well too, let's make ourselves harder to beat at least. Let's limit the danger that opposition teams can cause against us, and hopefully we can take advantage of the good opportunities that we do make, but we don't typically take advantage of. So that's the press conference out of the way. Let's now break down and discuss my predicted lineup for the game tomorrow. This is a very hard lineup for me to predict because I'm currently in two trains of thoughts. And for me, after seeing that performance against Dortmund, after seeing how well we did playing more off the ball, playing more counter-attacking, if we approach a game like this against Leicester City, I see the lineup being one way, but at the same time, knowing that Leicester's form has been terrible, aren't they going to be more inclined to sit back and defend themselves? And if they do so, maybe we have to approach the game a bit differently, because we have to play against a low block team, a defensive team, a team we have to break down. So disclaimer, but I'm going to take a massive gamble with my lineup, because I kind of feel like this may not be the correct one, but maybe it's one I'm personally hoping to see at least. So as you guys can see on screen, obviously Kepa in goal. If you want to hear my detailed thoughts about him, make sure you guys watch my 5 things we learned video against Borussia Dortmund. In defence, Fofana returns against his former club, Koulibaly in the middle, and I've gone for Badiashile on the left hand side. And the reason why I've done so is because Badiashile is very good at playing out from the back at least, and it makes us more defensively stronger in the Premier League. Now, Cucurella had a very top game against Dortmund, his best game for us since signing. I would not be surprised to see Badiashile come back into the team, with maybe Cucurella coming on in the second half to replace Ben Chilwell. I think that makes maybe more sense. And I think this back three is super imposing, and I've got a lot of faith behind their defensive aptitude in the game tomorrow. So for wing backs, I've gone for Ruben and I've gone for Ben Chilwell. Now, Ruben performs in his squad duties. That's why I rate him, that's why I respect him. And whenever he plays as a wing-back, he ends up producing at least one key attacking contribution every single game. That is just what he does. So Ruben's going to be key for us to help get the width in the team. That's going to be a big thing. And Ben is absolutely on form. And you'd imagine against his former club, against Leicester, he'll definitely be playing that game. And he's going to be so ready and pumped to play against his former club, because him and Fofana, they're definitely expecting to get a ton of boos away at home to Leicester City. So I think these guys will have a different mentality in the game tomorrow. Obviously, in midfield, I've gone for Enzo, and I've gone for our captain over the past 2 games in Mateo Kovacic. Now, I've liked Cover's form these past 2 games, and you guys know me. If I see positive things from players, I don't have any bias, and I'm going to be more than happy to shout my praises. And I'm liking the tweaks I've seen from Potter, where Cover can sit a bit deeper to help us play out from the back and just add that composure in the midfield. Enzo Fernandez has had a very solid start to his Chelsea career. There's so much more to come from him, but the way he's just instantly acclimatized into midfield for us, and he's giving in like very professional, strong, good defensive performances. That's what I'm expecting from him at this point in time, and I think that this pivot, this midfield duo, looks quite strong together over these past 2 games, but it's only a small amount of games we've seen them play together in. And now up front, this is where I'm taking the gambles. I'm doing things a bit different. I'm going for Kai Havertz on the right hand side. I'm going for João Felix as the false 9. I'm hoping he plays as a false 9. And I'm going for MUDRYK on the left hand side. Now originally I actually had MUDRYK on the right hand side with Kai up front and Felix on the left. I wouldn't be surprised if MUDRYK was to start this game. I think he should be maybe a bit fitter now at least play 60 minutes before someone else replaces him. And I think maybe with how Kai Havertz was so strong on the right hand side, it would be a bit of a waste if he was to continue playing up front at this point in time. I think João Felix can play false 9, he can link up and connect, and if I have guys like MUDRYK and Kai Havertz making like inverted runs in behind, we can cause some real danger, because Kai Havertz is us a lot better when he's making runs into the box compared to leading the line. He's a completely different player doing that, and as we saw against Borussia Dortmund, what this guy was doing on the right hand side, I feel like we can't afford to not use him there, especially with what he does off the ball and what he does on the ball as well too. So that is my predicted lineup for the game tomorrow. Again, it's definitely like a gamble, but I think this could be a decent lineup that hopefully makes it 3 wins on the bounce right now. So before we end things, let me give my final match prediction. And obviously I'm feeling positive vibes. I've got some more faith in my team right now. They've shown me things over the past 2 games I haven't seen for a while now. And most importantly, I'm seeing Graham Potter in terms of the man management, getting the tactics right and doing the right things currently. That is giving me even more faith, because this guy isn't a terrible manager, but I felt like the situation at the time was giving me vibes that maybe it was getting too big for him. But now it seems like he has a bit more control and he's doing what I have to see. So I'm going for a 2-0 win. I think that with our form and the quality we have, you're always going to expect us to do something at least against opposition teams, and I think that away from home, picking up an away win for once would be a positive thing to see, and hopefully we can play a bit more on the break. That's what I'm hoping to see, because Leicester City are playing at home and they're on a terrible losing streak right now where they have to show a reaction for their fans, and the best way to react is to go out there and play offensive football. And if they do that, I'm hoping that that way of playing plays into our hands and we take advantage of that. So that's my thoughts and opinions. Please share yours, give your match prediction, your predicted lineup, and how you think this game's going to go tomorrow. Do all of you feel a lot more positive about our hopes right now? So you guys, on that note, I'm EFC, this is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.